Welcome, everyone, to People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is a topic based conversation about the ups and downs of dating. Whether you're 18 or 80, you have a story to tell. But the gist of this podcast is just a conversation, no judgment. Today's guest is Angel. I'll just put his last name as C. He's been a good friend of mine for about probably 30, 35 years. And today's topic is a good one. We're going to talk about friends with benefits. So, Angel, first of all, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I much appreciate. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Great topic. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and like I said, I know Angel for. Geez, we used to play touch football together. We beat his brother one time in the summer league, which was a big upset back in the day. I think Angel must have caught the winning touchdown. I think he did. I
It
think he
was
did catch the winner.
we had bragging rights for a good month or so.
Yeah, we did. We did.
And every now and then I'll bring it up with the brothers during a dinner or drinks.
Yeah.
Just to stick it in them.
So anyway, Angel. So it's funny with this topic, friends with benefits. I probably could count on one hand and probably one finger. I had one, and that was like maybe 12 or 15 years ago that we were just friends. So I'm talking about I was in my maybe mid 40s, and she was like mid to late 30s. And we had good rapport, but it was a relationship that she didn't want to pursue any more than just friends. And the benefit part came pretty much 3, 4, almost 5 months later. It was one of those, I guess, emergency things that she was upset over an ex, and I just happened to be there. One thing led to another.
right this way. Yes, the shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
That's great because like I was mentioning earlier, women and men, we tend to have kind of a strange relationship, but also a fun relationship. Women are definitely hard to understand.
Mhm.
So are we. It's basically a puzzle that's really tough to put together. But with women, I've always found out. I learned at a very young age to try to become friends with women. And I didn't get it at the time. I got this advice when I was about 18.
Mhm.
Because when I was younger, I grew up in a neighborhood, and I was the youngest of just about everyone, and everyone kind of gave me bad relationship advice or some good advice. I just couldn't put it all together. I wasn't good at juggling.
Right.
And this one particular guy told me, he was like, "Listen, you gotta stop making these girls cry. Get to know them. Get to have something in common with them. Don't just look at them as just a sex symbol." And as I got older and a bit more mature, I found traits of a woman that I have always found something beautiful about every single woman, be it physical, mental. It could be the way she spoke. There's always that one thing about women that you find attractive.
Right. It's funny that you say that. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I was at an event, and they were playing music there and everything. And I was telling one of the guys, I'm trying to remember who it was, and I said, man, I love to see women dance. There's something about just seeing any type of woman dance. It's their movement, the way their body contours, and even if they're not even a good dancer, but it's just that they make the effort of
Oh,
just
absolutely.
moving. And I love that, compared to some of my male buddies that they don't dance, or they just,
They're
th- they're
wallflowers.
more wallflowers. Yeah. And for me, I was that way too when I was much younger. Probably like yeah, actually, maybe in my 20s, late 20s, early 30s. I was, and then I just started learning how to dance. I just started picking up things, and I made a lot of friends, with women, but it never went any further because most of the time I just didn't pursue it, or most of the time I just thought
Right,
they
right.
weren't interested until a, months to a year later, they would say, "Oh, I liked you, but you had this face. You don't smile or anything." I'm like, Jesus. I'm saying to myself, why didn't you say anything? But
Well, we always put up so many walls,
yeah,
especially growing up. You're for me anyway. I was nervous to be around women. I was intimidated by women. Um, my first experience, luckily, I have an older brother that I was able to borrow his license to go out clubbing. Um, I was able to go to the original Copacabana down on what was that, 60th Street,
Yeah,
Fifth
60th
Avenue.
between Fifth Avenue. Yeah, yeah, Fifth Avenue.
So first time, 17-year-old kid. I don't know if I went with you. I may have gone with
Yeah.
someone.
It might have been with us, me,
Yeah,
80,
yeah.
so
No,
I shouldn't say his name, but yeah.
I had an oversized suit, but for me it was just walking into just getting the nerve to just say hello
Yeah.
to a woman. It was always difficult. I'm not a fan of. Well, I was never one of those guys with lines. My easiest line was a simple hello.
I'm the same way. Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? It works
Yeah.
because girls are used to, or women are used to, guys coming up with these crappy lines. A perfect example. Did it fall? Oh, did it hurt when you fell? And they go, fell from where? From heaven? One of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, those
Or
are the type of things you see in movies. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So I basically learned by example of a lot of my older friends. So
Right.
I would see them either hit or miss on how they treated women. I was able to learn from an old friend of mine who basically just told me to speak with them. They're people. Women are actually people.
Right.
So once I learned that concept, it just became easier. Then I found things I was in common with. I didn't know a lot of women were into sports,
Mm.
and I got to meet women that were into sports. And that alone was like a sense of attraction towards her. Just that knowing, I wasn't even looking at her features, her beauty. It was just her conversation. It drew me to her. I was like, wow. And just I just took steps, and then getting to know women. Once you became friend, once that every guy hates to hear that word, the friend zone. I don't want to be put in that friend zone category.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't
But I think
mind.
we have to give them our intention of what we want. I mean, if we want to be just friends, then that's it. But if we want to be friends with the benefits, how do you navigate that? Because that's the thing. Like I said, with my situation, she was the one that made the first move. So
Okay.
I went willingly. I wasn't gonna,
No,
say
no, of
no.
course.
Yeah, this is no, this is not right. But um, how do you navigate that? That's the thing. How do we give our intention that yes, we want to be friends, but we also know that hey, we're right here in the bullpen whenever you
Well,
need us.
there's little
Yeah,
always little subtle hints that you can offer them. It can be within the conversation. You can tell her, how how beautiful her smile is, or how she looks great in that dress. You can always throw those little subtle hints. If I were to take you out, I would take you out here. Or give you. You always have to like slide in something, a thought in there. So at the end of the night, she can just say, "Hey, you know what? He did mention that." Because I don't know, a majority, some of the women I know, they have their team of girls or young ladies that they fall back on and say, "Hey, I just went out with Angel, great guy," and one of them might say, "Hey, you ever thought about dating him?" She said, "Oh no, I've known him for years, but he did compliment me on what I was wearing today." And that always, the way he looks at me sometimes, I always tend to think. So you want to be able to look at them, not, stare at them and gawk at them, but you
right.
want to be able to, admire them. You can admire a beautiful woman and
Oh yeah.
without, offending her. Me personally, I love looking at a woman's eyes.
Right.
And then, but I noticed the smaller things. That's another thing that friends with the benefits, the smaller things you can mention. Wow, you know what? You must have just got your nails done today, right? And they go, "Oh my, how did you know that?" I said, "I could tell. The mannerisms, how you're swinging your hands, or the toes, or if those are new shoes. You could tell when they start fidgeting. So you try to pick up little subtle hints
Right.
so you can actually have an actual conversation. Like I just mentioned the shoes, and she could just say, "Yeah, I just bought these shoes." You can move that conversation forward and say, what particular shoes you like. Now you have a conversation of just shoes. I'm a fan of shoes as well.
Yeah.
So that's something we can have in common. And then anytime she wants to go shopping, she can call me. And then that'll be the second date where we can move forward on that. Then we can actually do lunch, and then and to become that friends with benefits. I don't do the dinner. I
Right.
like to do a brunch,
Yeah.
and so then I can actually have more time to spend with her. If we have, if we want to take a walk in the park, or catch a movie, a play. Sometimes we can catch. So you kind of extend the evening, but you don't want to go overlap it towards that late night. You can
Right.
always leave at the front door, put her in a cab, take her home. Or if you don't, before and say, hey, listen, I just made plans to go out with a couple of my other friends. I had a really great time. Let's do this again. So you kind of leave it on a good note. You're
Right.
not over pursuing, but you're still treating her as a friend.
Right. No, I like that. I like the fact that, you said, give her a compliment, give a subtle hints, because like you said, we end up putting up walls, but also, like you said, notice the smallest details, which it could be, I love your smile, I love your eyes. Wow, your hair looks nice. The shoes. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of us don't do that. We just go straight in for the kill, and then and then we put them off because they're like, oh, geez. But and it's funny because a friend of mine had told me years and years ago, my God, I don't know. Again, like you mentioned, is to become friends and get to know them, and not just, like you said, not look at them as sex symbols. So with you, Angel, once you started noticing that your, let's say, for lack of a better word, your game got better, with speaking and giving the subtle hints and all that. How did, let's say, with one any of your women that you were with that became friends with benefits, how did that jump to the next slide?
Oh, so well, they would ask me opinions on guys, on the
Right.
guys they were dating, or who they might be interested in. And I would actually ask them, what kind of man are you looking for?
Hmm.
What are your what are your checkpoints?
Right.
And then I was, slightly throw myself in there. So I said, so would I be able to fit in there somehow?
Ah.
And but still within, not in a manner that you're hitting on her, but it's a slight hit, but you're still asking for information.
Right.
And by her just letting me know what she's interested in, that actually helps me out for the next time I want to go out with her, or if we're going to go out anywhere. If she says, I like a guy who wears this type of particular cologne. I like a guy who has shoes and dresses to the T. And I was like, well, is there any? I would actually steer that conversation to maybe help me to go out shopping with me. So then
Right.
she can see me and how she actually pictures a man.
Ah, okay.
So then we still go out shopping, which is great. A lot of women love shopping.
Right.
But you also get a notion like where she, who she's looking for, and then when she sees you in there, she's still gonna have that thought, wow, he actually looks good, but she won't really tell you that particular intimate, like in an intimate setting, but
Yeah.
she'll just say as a friend, hey, you pull that off it well. And if she goes home later on, she speaks to one of her girlfriends or her mom or sister, anybody. She can say, "Hey, yeah, I just went shopping," and they'll ask with who, and hopefully, that person knows who I am. They say, "Well, what you guys do?" She'll go over the whole date, and one of her friends might actually even tell her that was actually kind of a date that you just went on. She
Mm.
goes like, "No, we're still friends," and just by those little words, clues that people throw in, she'll have that date. I get along with him. We had he made me laugh, and he was respectful. So right there, she's lowering her defenses, her guard
Right.
towards men,
Because she's
but
checking off her checklist, right? That you
checking
were,
it off.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. You were a gentleman. You look good in that shirt. You were
Yeah.
respectful. Yeah.
And you end up having similarities. And when two people feel comfortable, that actually lowers all type of defenses. Even if we say we don't have them, we all do kind of put up a wall
Yeah.
just because of whatever relationships we may have had. But knowing that she feels comfortable with me to
Mhm.
go out with me, to a show, to grab brunch, to go out shopping, and then even to end the day by saying, "Hey, I have to step out. I'm going out with a couple other people. Let's do this again," or and let me know when you get home. So then it
Right.
shows that you actually care that she got home. So
Right.
now as the more and more you guys talk, she's gonna have thoughts, different thoughts that are gonna pop up. But it's your job or my job to actually try to see if we can actually have something but still remain friends.
Okay, I wanted to go there. So we're talking with Angel. This is people on dating, and today's topic is friends with benefits. So if you can, not in full detail or obviously give any names or anything,
No,
but
no, of course. I'm a
um,
gentleman.
so when does, let's say, the action take place? Like, how does it happen? Like, in other words, do you guys invite each other to each other's apartment or house, or how does that come about when all of a sudden she might cry on your shoulder, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, I'm here whenever you need me. How does that
Well,
process work?
the one thing I've learned, I don't try to initiate any of the contact. I want her to feel comfortable with me,
Right.
and I don't. I kind of want to. I'm still respecting her for my friend. But if there is some attraction, and from the even from being friends, there's always a slight of an attraction, be it
Right.
your manners, be it your looks, the way you speak. There's always going to be something that you're attracted to, because since they're your friends, you always have that conversation. Oh, you know what? I should set you over one of my friends. One of those conversations. So
Yeah.
when you're having that conversation with your friends, and she may be upset, or you might be upset, sometimes you might get into that space that basically it's sort of like your perimeter.
Right. Right. Right.
So it can be, and it always happens. I've noticed, for me, it always happens on a great day where
Mm.
we've laughed, we may have had cocktail, and it's not always being drunk, it's just having a great time. And you end up, maybe a hug, a kiss on the cheek. You might be wearing a cologne that she likes, she might be wearing a perfume that you like, and that goodbye kiss kind of pauses for a moment. And I know it sounds like on one of these movies, but you guys do look into each other's eyes, and all those
True.
thoughts
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
of how your friendship, all the time you guys have spent together, and what it would be like. What if you always have that thought? I wonder I wonder how her lips feel. She always has this lip gloss. She always has smooth hands. I'm a person, I recognize hands.
Right.
Um, so little things like that, or she might have a pair of earrings. You might want to touch them. Okay, take a look. That's another way to actually cross over. You want to have physical contact, but not go over that line.
So
So
you might
she
touch your elbow or you might touch a shoulder or
she
something like
might
that.
have a bracelet on, so you're
And
you're
you
gonna touch
okay.
the bracelet, or you're both walking. She stumbles, you hold on to her hand. You might grab the side of her back just so she doesn't fall. If it's raining, you have an umbrella. She'll get in closer, and then you can compliment her. I never smelled that perfume on you before, and
Mm.
that can bring up a conversation. Why, do you like it? Or you can either say, no, I hate it. It was my last girlfriend had it. So,
Right,
but
right, right.
because since she's my friend, I can tell her that,
Yeah.
and she can say, that was kind of crappy, but he was honest with me. So one thing women do like is honesty, and I'm the
Right.
same way. So honesty opens up so many doors. So once you're honest with her, and once you kind of lower your guards with each other. Those little things, it might feel awkward the first time.
Yeah.
You might, if you lean over, you kiss, because now all of a sudden you might say, wait a minute, what's going on? I don't know if she's dating someone else or if I'm dating someone else.
Right, right.
But we know that this kind of works.
Yeah.
But because we're friends, we're not going to let it go anymore. Or since we are friends, let's just see where this ride takes us.
Okay.
And one thing is, I've always told women, I'm like, I don't mind. Let's see where this ride takes us. But at the end of the day, we're still friends, correct? Yes or no? That I
Mm,
want to be get her reassurance, because once that's a fine line to step over,
right.
and that can end friendships. It can strengthen friendships, and it can grow. But
Wow.
I've
Yeah.
been fortunate enough to have a few friends that yeah, you know what, we jumped in, both feet in. We had
Yeah.
a ride, one of these rides from Great Adventure, hands up on the roller coaster, and you come down, and it's just a great feeling.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine. She worked in a bar. I don't know if you remember the ski bar.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that place. Yeah.
Okay. So every night people used to hit on this girl, or every night hit on her, hit on her, hit on her. And I used to get her a drink. She actually worked in the bar.
Right.
She was the slalom shot girl, if everybody remembers that.
Oh yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
just within a few months, her and we ended up having a friendship. We would talk. I knew the owner of the bar. I would speak to her. She used to wear kind of like a bikini top and everything. But
Yeah.
I would definitely, I would look, but I wouldn't get caught staring at her. But I would always talk to her, looking into her eyes. So a couple months went by, and a couple of guys were hitting on her, and I didn't, I was a little nice, and all I said is, these guys just don't get it. That was it. Oh, they
Mm.
don't get it. They don't get you. And
Ah, wow. Okay.
she was like, and that just stopped her in her, and she was like, what did you say? I said, they just don't get you. I said, I can just tell by your face, and kind of just walked away. That kind of intrigued her. She came over and she goes, what did you actually mean by that? And I just went with everything that I've known about her,
Yeah.
how I met her, the conversations we've had. I said, if it was me, I wouldn't hit on you that way. And then after a drink, she goes, then how would you hit on me?
Wow.
And
So she started giving you the subtle hints and
yeah, little hints like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That particular night, nothing happened. I just told her a couple things that I checked off on what I liked about her.
Yeah.
And I said, and I'm at the end of the day, I am a man, and I said, there are attractions from me to you, but I respect it enough that we're friends, so I've
Yeah.
never pushed on those urges. And she was like, ah, okay. 2 weeks later, after that, because I'm a very patient man, so
See that see and I gotta cut you off there for a second because I think a lot of us I know I'm one of those guys that I'm not patient. I'm like in certain situations I'm not, and then I just tend to move on, and then that's when I was
yeah,
telling you earlier that I remember, when I worked in different jobs, and I would find out later, and I'm talking about maybe 6 months later, a year later, whatever, and my mind has disappeared in terms of her, and then I hear either through her or through her friends that, oh, I did like you, but I was trying to give you hints, but it went over you, and I'm like, Jesus, it probably, and I'm thinking to myself, it probably did, you know.
yeah. Oh no,
So
I've been there as well. For me, and I don't know if it sounds a little conceited, but I always get a sense, if I click with someone, I
yeah,
can actually see myself doing, going the next level. I can actually, and I've
yeah,
told women this. I said, I've pictured myself in this situation with you, and
wow,
what's gonna happen. I said, I've
yeah,
been, and if we become friends, and they say, oh, how come you never acted on that? I said, well, because you always going through something, and I didn't know if, I felt that we clicked, but I didn't know if we clicked in a sexual way.
right,
And they've always said, well, you should have acted, and there's times I've acted and it's actually backfired on me.
right,
But that's why I always get the sense, I always, from my dad, I'm a gentleman. I'll ask if I can, get a bit closer. I remember asking a woman, "Is it okay if I kissed her?" And she goes, "Why even ask?" So
And that's the thing, because I wanted to talk about that because I remember, reading some of this stuff or even, looking at videos and they say never ask a girl if you could kiss her. And I'm like, wow, and you did it, and pretty much it turned out to be okay because she says, why you even ask?
yeah, right,
So
of
yeah,
course.
so continue there. Yeah, because that's intriguing.
Because you get into like that, it's like an awkward position. Because there's
Right.
times I've done that lean where a woman might just lean back, and all of a
Right.
sudden, we picked up different signal. And
Yeah.
so I can sense when the night's going well, and but since we're friends, I don't want to kind of ruin the friendship.
Yeah.
Because as I gotten older, women, I love being friends with women because they're honest. The guys, we joke around and everything, but a lot of times we don't open up with one another.
No, and
Um,
it's funny that you said that because it's true. Yeah, there's some things sometimes you got to keep to yourself because is your buddy gonna, make fun of you or they're gonna
yeah,
criticize
yeah.
you or, yeah, I agree there.
It's the world we were in and how we
Yeah,
grew up. So me getting to know somebody, especially a female that's a friend of mine, she can see me at my highs and see me at my lows, and for some reason, and I know that you might say some women are sensitive. I've met a lot of women that are sensitive and some that aren't. They're as rough as me.
right,
And it's cool. It's a different vibe.
right.
But with that asking, I was able to lean over and say, "Hey, I'm having a great time. The whole day's been amazing, and I'm getting this vibe." I said, "I don't want to step my boundaries, but would you mind if I kissed you?" And a couple women have told me, that one told me, "Why are you even asking?" Others have said, "I was wondering when you were going to."
Wow.
And so that's great conversation. Of course, move in, kiss, and say, I've always wanted to feel how that felt. You always, because when you're friends with women, they'll tell you, "Oh, I was with this guy. He was a terrible kisser, or he was a great kisser," and they start telling you little things on what they like. So
Mm,
then, once you start checking out, well, okay, she likes doing this, she bites her bottom lip. So these are little things that I like. And then I'll tell them everything you're telling me about what you're describing, what you like. I kind of like that. And now I'm starting to see you in that light. And
yeah.
I've been honest with women telling me, I'm like, I know we're friends, but for some reason tonight feels like we're a little bit more than friends.
Right.
And some of them might say, well, if they don't have a boyfriend, great. I pursue it. I've had friends that had boyfriends that have a terrible argument. I think I mentioned that once you become friends with them,
Right.
you become that guy in case of an emergency, break glass.
Yeah, I
So
remember. Yeah.
yeah,
Hold that thought because I remember I had seen a stand up on Chris Rock, and he says he was talking about some women they have platonic relationships, but they have that, he cursed it, but he says to get out of schlong glass by breaking it, and she goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe he did that to me. Oh my God, I'm glad you're here." And then boom, all of a sudden,
and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I've been the villain. I have
Right,
been.
right.
I'm like, yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night. Oh my God, he was such an asshole. I'm like, wait a minute, where are you? And oh, I'm over here. I said, why don't you take a cab? I don't think you should go home right now.
Right.
So then I've been in there, invite them over, say, hey, listen, would you like a glass of wine, water, anything? And since they feel comfortable with you,
Right.
they may come over, they may not. But if they do come over, it's not my opportunity to, do the clapper, the lights turn off and all that. But
Right, right, right.
I make her feel that she's at a safe haven, that she
Right.
can come, let me know what's going on, and I've actually been able to move forward within the relationship as a friend. It may
Right.
have happened once or twice, and
But then
that
you get the benefits with being the friend. Yeah.
correct. So now it happened, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it happened." But
So
I don't.
how is the next day though? How is it any awkwardness or you guys just picked up where you left off? I know you said that you want to make sure that they know, hey, we're still friends. I hope this doesn't damage us or anything. Is that does that conversation come up again or even
Well, you
how,
have to. You got to kind of bring that, get into that conversation slowly.
right.
Because some of them might feel, oh my god, I can't believe I what we did. So there's a stigma there. But
Mm,
you have to kind of reassure them, say, hey, listen, we've been friends for X amount of time. And I'll tell them the honest truth. I said, I've been attracted to you, but I like your friendship. And that's the one reason I didn't act on that. And
okay.
you always with so and so. So that's one of my rules. I don't, I try not to. I don't like to wreck anyone's home.
Right.
And I always tell them, I'm like, I was always there because we had that connection as a friend, and and I'm glad you were able to confide in me. And you can also be a little comical on it, or say, "Hey, listen, yesterday was amazing. I don't know what got into you." I said, "But I think you had that. We had that coming. That build was what, maybe 15 years, 10 years, a year.
Right.
Um, you know what? Not and I'm a baseball fan. I'll be like, you knocked it out of the stadium, and little things like that that you don't make her feel like she's embarrassed of what she did,
Right, right.
but she did it because you know what? At the end of the day, she's a woman. I'm a man. We both enjoy the act,
Yeah.
and if they feel comfortable enough to do with you, me, whatever, so be it. Hey, mazel tov. Um, but I always tell them I don't do any more than what they want to do,
Right.
unless they ask me. If we're there, we're home. I'm in four walls. A lot of things happen between four walls,
Yeah.
and if you're comfortable, it's going to be an amazing experience. And if you guys still friends with that, it's even better because unless maybe you guys had to let it happen
Right.
in order
But
to
I'm
continue your friendship.
right. And so I wanted to touch base on something. So let's say, there's a conversation going on and, you offer her wine or whatever, and she says yes. And then the conversation gets into where, like you said, oh, he was an a-hole. He did this to me. And you just sit there and listen and just comfort him. You're not even giving any hints on your part that, man, I could take advantage. You're not doing that. You're being a gentleman by just listening.
Exactly. When I was younger, that was like my mindset. All right, let me talk bad about this guy, then I end up scoring with her.
Right.
But then she'll have an experience that she's gonna regret because
Right.
she was a little bit doubtful. She did it, and you didn't kind of reassure the act,
Yeah.
and she wasn't comfortable with what was going on. So once you guys establish there's a comfort zone there, she can say anything. She can let her hair down, take off her shoes, just kick back. And if she says, "Hey, would you mind giving me a pair of your basketball shorts?" That in me, that's like a telltale sign
Oh yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
she's not gonna go home.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I'll be more than a gentleman. I'll fold her clothes. I'll hang them up, and just give her that reassurance. Hey, I'm not here to judge you.
Right.
We've been there. We've had this conversation. We the only thing is we haven't seen each other naked, but we've had conversations. You've told me about X and so guys or whatever. I told you about so and so girls experiences. I said, you might know some of my sexual experiences with what I've told you, and same
Right.
thing, vice versa. She may have told me this. So I'm like, oh, the minute the sex conversation comes up,
Mhm.
that can go that can grow really quickly, because there's a lot of emotions going on, because your friends, so all the walls are down.
Right, right,
uh,
right.
there's always an attraction, even be it by friendship. I love the way he talks to me, I love the way she talks to me. I get attracted to stuff like that.
Right. Because
Um,
the thing is, you being genuine, you're not throwing lines at her. You just listening to the conversation, you picking up whatever she might talk about, and you picking up and just continuing the conversation. Because again, you're not throwing lines at her. You just,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're there. You're there to
To
listen
lend
to her,
support and lend support.
lend support, and then there's always that little awkward moment. I know. I don't know if any of your viewers. There's always an awkward moment. Be it you're talking, you both reach for the same glass. See, you guys both reach for the same glass. This and mind you, she's being open, so a lot of emotions are coming out. And if there's a genuine like sexual attraction, it will come out.
Right.
And that's you guys. For me, I always I act on it. Again, regrets for me isn't a word that I live by. We've all had it. We all done it. So regrets, I have no regrets.
Right.
Um, you have the thought, and it happens. And but you have to basically be an adult about it to have the conversation afterwards.
Yeah, that's always the key. Well, listen, first of all, Angel, I want to thank you so much for being on People on Dating. This was a fascinating topic and everything. And I definitely want to have you back on another date. And before I let you go, is anything do you want to promote? Anything you want to, because it's funny. I like to promote books. So if you have any books that you like to recommend on dating, that'd be great. Or you should write one yourself down the road.
Well,
And
I
but
have my memoirs. I'm actually a friend of mine told me I need to start writing down my memoir. I have great chapters from the beginning. Again, I used to be married. I did my time of 11 years,
right,
so as I always call it. But other than that, I was a good guy. I was a bad guy. I was a friend.
right.
I was I broken hearts, but not too many. And my thing is, again, with friends, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, no, that's again, that's perfect way to end the show. So any books you would like to recommend? Any books that you might think of, even if it's personal development or dating, anything like that?
What I had actually, I know a lot of people wondered. Um, my library actually is extensive. Let me
Okay.
actually let me show you a few of my collections here. Well, a couple of the books that I have read.
Yeah.
Um, all right, I always recommend the Celestine Prophecies.
Okay.
Good book. Kind of gets to know who you are. Um, if you believe in sort of that mystical kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm Puerto Rican. My background's Puerto Rican. I have again War Against Puerto Ricans.
Okay.
It's a great book to read. It gives you a little bit of insight of of your country, your heritage. Then heck, I have another book right here. Well, can't
I see it. Yeah. Yeah. Influence.
Boricuas. My thing
Okay.
is, I do enjoy a good book. You have to. And last but not least, everything you need to know, Latinos histories.
Okay.
And well, I'm currently, I told you before, I'm working in residential management. I work for a group called the Brodsky Organization. Um,
How you
we're down in
spell
Brooklyn.
Brodsky? Brosky?
Yes, Brodsky.
Oh, Brod. Got
Yeah,
it.
Brodsky,
Organization.
and we're currently in the by the Barclay Center. We're developing right now. There's two buildings up, and we're currently in the process of developing a new one. We're going to break ground in about a year and a half from now. Brooklyn is a borough up in
Oh, it's
up.
definitely miniature Manhattan. It might be, they'll probably, in 10 years, they'll probably take over Manhattan. So,
Well, they're trying to grow it that way. I'm right off of Flatbush. I don't know if you've been to the Barclay Center.
yeah,
That
no, I
whole
know the
area,
area. Yeah.
the whole area has changed like within the last 10 to 20 years. So
Yeah.
and it's great. Nice lounges, rooftops, places you can meet your friend and take them out for drinks.
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, Angel, first of all, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. I really, really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Great talking to you. Let me know if there's anything else. I'm an open book.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Well, everyone, that was Angel C, and you could find them at Instagram and look for the spelling Arcange, the number one. Okay, so it's Archange one, Arcange, the number one. Angel, thank you so much for being on People on Dating. Much appreciated. You can find me on peopleondating.com. That's peopleondating.com. Check out our past shows and check out our blog. Also, when you get a chance, please go to Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe, leave a review, tell us how we can make this show better. Also, you can find me on Google Podcasts and Spotify. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening on People on Dating. I'm your host, Will Morales. Until next time, thanks, everybody. Have a great day, and please stay safe. Bye.